Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at BBAI. It is time for another update, and on this chart we are tracking two main scenarios here to the upside. I did remove the fallback yellow scenario, but yeah, it was just a fallback scenario if both the blue and white scenario fail, so we can resume, we can bring that back if it really is needed, but for the time being it's really not something I would focus on. So yeah, let's move on with what we have here. And yeah, on the larger time frame I am tracking a 5-wave move to the upside, and I do not really have yet a confirmation if this is developing as a diagonal structure or if it is developing as an impulse. Both are still applicable on this, in this case, on this chart. And yeah, we have inside this wave 3 we have basically here a 1-2 setup in either case, and then we have a third wave to the upside developing here. Now internally within the white scenario we are tracking a diagonal structure where this was an A wave up, we have here a wave B down, and now we are tracking a wave C to the upside that could develop in a number of different ways. Then for an ideal target for such a wave 3 we would have to likely reach it in both scenarios, both blue and white. It is the 138.2% extension at the $34 level, somewhere around that area. And then we also have the blue scenario where instead of tracking a diagonal structure internally here we are tracking an impulse where this was a wave 1 up, we have here a wave 2 down, and now we are tracking a larger wave 3 to the upside, and then we get a 4th and a 5th, and this would all be internally within this larger wave 3. Now this would be nicer for the chart. It would provide a more reliable structure and basically even more strength. Now internally we are tracking slightly different structure within these scenarios, and to be honest I could also track what we have here in blue. I could also track within the wave C to the upside. I cannot track the blue scenario with what we have drawn in the white interpretation here internally in this movement. Let that be clear, because in the white scenario we are tracking an ending diagonal within the wave C, whereas in the blue scenario we are tracking an impulse, and within a third wave of an impulse the third wave of an impulse must be an impulse. So yeah, the white scenario is not applicable to it in this case. So yeah, let's get a little bit through the structures. Within the white scenario we have a wave 1 that has developed up here, where yeah, we are tracking basically an ABC structure, something like this. And then we had a wave 2 correction. To the upside we had an A wave up, a B wave down, and now we would be in the internal wave C. And for this internal wave C we would have an ideal target, the 100% extension, which is at around the $11 level. Then we have the blue scenario, in which instead of tracking a direct wave 1, it really is a series of 1-2 setups that has occurred in this area, more or less, could be in different ways. And then we have this larger 1-2 setup, which would require a start of a third wave right now that yeah, could already be in development. Very likely we did have our correction in a wave 2 in this area. We had our support zone, it did hold, and it did create a reaction that even got us out of this support zone. Now let's bring to the chart the internal interpretations of this latest movement to the upside. And yeah, we have been tracking multiple interpretations in this area as well. Now I'll be honest, it is not the prettiest wave 1 to the upside in this case. In the blue scenario we are tracking a more basic 1-2 setup. It might be better to count it as a diagonal structure. It's not necessary, to be honest, because this could be a 1-2, then another 1-2 here, a third wave up, a 4th wave down, and then something of a 5th wave in this area. It could be that this third wave is more extended, then we get here a 4-5, and then it would be a 1-2 3 4th and the 5th, and it works out also as an impulse. That is perfectly fine, but it does have an odd look to it. I'll leave it at that. Then we also have the possibility to really track this as a series of 1-2 setups that would allow for even more impulsivity, where this is the latest 1-2 setup that has developed, and we did have this support zone provided. Now I made it clear in the previous video because I provided both this micro support zone and this larger time frame, more reliable support zone for an entry for allowing, yeah, basically continuation to the upside. Now, we did break the white support zone, not necessarily the biggest surprise, but we did not completely invalidate the white scenario, even though we broke the support zone. It just makes it a little less credible, where I might consider that, yeah, maybe it is more likely to track the larger, simple 1-2 setup in this area, where, yeah, we could have already bottomed. I don't see why not. I could argue that it could continue, and it can continue to the downside, no problem. We do still have a lot of room in this larger support zone area, but I would probably like to remove this interpretation and keep a more simple 1-2 setup here that we can track directly. Now, I'm not confirming that we have already bottomed here, but I can point out, and I will, that we might have formed a micro 5-wave move to the upside already, where this is a wave 1, this is a wave 2, we have here a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then a fifth wave to the upside. This would be in a leading diagonal, but that is perfectly fine, and I can provide you another trade setup in this area where we again have a good chance of an entry for continuing this uptrend. Now, in this case, I would be looking for support in such a wave 2, and let me use the yellow color in this case because I want it to be more clear, more visible on top of this blue background. But this support one for a wave 2 is between the $7.2 level all the way down to the $6.6 level, the 78.6% retracement. And again, as long as we hold the 78.6% retracement, we can look for continuation to the upside with a decent amount of likelihood for this to work out. Now, so far we do have a 3-wave structure to the downside. It does look pretty alright, pretty reliable. I might add that, yeah, here in the very micro time frame, we would be looking normally at a wave C, where this is a 1, this is a 2, a third wave down, and then I would like another fourth, fifth, but I believe we actually, yeah, broke above the ideal, or yeah, we broke above the resistance for a wave 4, which would normally only extend to the 50% retracement in this case. So it could still go lower, but not within, yeah, this ABC structure. Could be something different playing out, no problem. But it is already a good indication that, who knows, maybe we have started the larger uptrend. If I even look here on the super micro time frame, maybe we could consider this as an additional 5-wave move to the upside, a very nano one basically, the smallest unit possible, picoid, I don't know. It is too small to actually find it reliable to any degree, but yeah, it is a point I wanted to make. And then what else I am looking for? Well, there is no confirmation, or there is a first level of confirmation actually that we bottomed here in the wave 2, and it is this initial 5-wave move to the upside, but we have not yet broke the resistance area for such a wave 2, or the possibility of an ABC movement to the downside. And in this case, I would be looking at resistance at the levels between the $7 level all the way up to the $8 level at the 78.6% retracement. Now, a break above this level would be an additional indication. I keep saying a first indication, but we already have our first indication here in our 5-wave move to the upside that we have formed. So yeah, it would be an additional indication that we have bottomed, and not only that, pushing this high would also be an additional indication that we had our 3-wave correction in a wave 2. So this would be actually the third level of indication at this point, and then we would be looking at resistance at the top here of the wave 1. But yeah, each level brings more confidence to the count. So each level we form to the upside, each level succeeds in pushing higher, brings more confidence to the count and to the reliability of this structure that we are tracking. And for now, there really isn't much else to add. I suppose I could give you a target in case we have already bottomed in this wave 2. And for the internal wave 3, I would be looking at the 138.2% extension at the $9.6 level. And for now, yeah, I will leave it at this. I suppose I will make this back to blue just to keep it clear. And yeah, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover. And I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.